This call is being recorded.
Hello?
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. I feel commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long.
Well, hello, everyone. I want to welcome you all back to part 2 of my interview with Virginia. So if you missed the last one, just to kind of get you up to speed, we were discussing how the issues that she had in the past with her husband, with her ex-husband, and how it's affected her right now. It's caused her a lot of financial struggle. It's caused her a lot of frustration. It's caused her a lot of somewhat depression and just basically not living life to her fullest right now. And so we talked about the problem, and I just want to start off by letting you all know that I'm a huge advocate of just spending a small percentage of time on the problem and the majority of the time on the solution. So that's why you're not going to hear us talk too much about the problem anymore, because it's been said, it's been released. She let it out. She shared her truth, her story. Remember what I said. This is her story as far as her perception of what transpired and how it made her feel and how it affected her life. So this is her truth. And nobody can take her truth away. That's what she experienced, and that's what she feels. And so the only thing that needs to be done from this point on is now we need to find out how she can go back from being what she felt was the victim to now being the victor of her life and experiencing life to the fullest, because she needs to do it for herself. She needs to do it for her children. She needs to do it for even possibly her future husband if she gets married again. So without further ado, I want to first just welcome you back, Virginia, to part 2. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good. Okay. And so what I want to do is, when I first bumped into you after we hadn't seen each other for some years, and I first bumped into you, and, you were sharing the story that you just shared with us on the last recording. You were sharing that with me, and I was watching your body language. I was looking into your eyes. I was just kind of basically summing the whole story up in my head as far as what you were telling me versus what I was seeing you show me as far as your emotions and your gosh, what is it? Almost like just your state of being at that time. I'll never forget that I was just blown away, because my first thought, and I looked at you and I'm like, oh, no. Like, you can't stay in this state. Like, you are living the problem over and over and over every day. Like, it's like a nightmare that you never leave. Like, how did you realize at that time, like, that it was that obvious?
Oh, I no, I wouldn't say that it was necessarily that I noticed it was that obvious, but I do feel like it's a problem that I have trouble escaping, and I want to get past it.
That's good.
And I'm having a hard time getting past it.
Okay. All right.
And I think it's just,
Okay.
it takes time and it's a process, but, it's really hard, really, really hard.
Okay. So I'm glad you said that because, again, you're speaking what you feel is your truth. And I want to say this because I know that it can help so many people. Okay, guys, every day we think 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And we don't just think random words. We're not walking around just saying bird, house, sky, stars, car, food. We're not walking around just saying random words. As we think 60 to 80,000 thoughts, they are really a culmination of a lot of our beliefs, okay? A lot of the stories that we're painting and telling ourselves every day. So just like if you were to sit down and watch a movie, you're looking at a story and it's almost like they suck you into the story because they play on your emotions, and so you feel like you're the character. And so if it's scary, then that's why your emotions feel scared. If it's an adventure movie, that's why you feel the adrenaline rush. It just is how it is, and that's how we're wired as human beings. So one thing that you have to be very careful of, if you're walking around and you're telling yourself a story every day, you got to be careful at the story you're telling yourself. And most of the stories that we tell ourselves come from what we believe, our beliefs. And remember, if you guys follow me, then you know I'm a huge fan of finding out what your limiting beliefs are so that we can uproot them out of your mind and consciousness so that they don't sabotage your life anymore. Because we're telling ourselves stories every single day, moment by moment by moment by moment. Either the stories are building us up and attracting into our lives more happy stories to match the stories we're telling ourselves, or we're telling ourselves depressing, sad, frustrating, angry, stressful stories that's causing that to attract more of that into our lives. There's nothing in between. We're telling ourselves either stories that's building us up or tearing us down, point blank, period. So that's why you have to be careful with what you think, because what you think becomes your words becomes your actions become your habits become your life. So with that being said, I pay attention to, I'm like the word radar. And so I pay attention to words. And so when people talk to me in just 5 minutes, that's why I like doing strategy sessions where I'm able to talk to somebody. It's a 20-minute strategy session, a free strategy session that I do, because in that 20 minutes, I can sum it all up. It may be a mystery to you, but in that 20 minutes, I can sum it all up real easily for you. Problem and solution. It's very simple. Number one, it's always going to be simple for somebody who's outside of the situation. So you're very, very close to the situation. So it's more personal to you, and it's more and so it's more highly emotionally charged for you because you're right there living that story. But for me on the outside looking in, obviously I can look at it from a different viewpoint and help you think clearly through it, because I don't tell you your truth. I just help you to tap into the best version of yourself so that you can overcome it better. That's it. I'm just a catalyst. I always like to tell people I'm a catalyst for change. That means I help to ignite the change that's already within you. The answer is already within you. The solution is already in you, because we are wonderfully made. We're magnificent creatures. And so with that being the case, all I do is just to help ignite it so that you can see it for yourself and live it for yourself and experience it for yourself. So one of the things I just noticed when you were talking, you said two things that sabotaging you already in one sentence, two sentences. You actually said two sentences, two things that sabotaging you right now. You said it's going to be a long and arduous. I threw in arduous. You didn't say arduous. You said long, but I just wanted to throw it in for effect. You said it's going to be a long, arduous process to get over this, a long, arduous process. How long have you been divorced?
3 years.
3 years. So that's not long enough for you? How long does it need to be? Like, to me, that's stinking long. 3 years is a long time.
I agree. That's why I'm so frustrated, because I still find, of course I have to deal with them, and we had to go back to mediation and all of those things. But, I think the crux of the matter for me is that it was so personally damaging on so many different levels, both emotionally, mentally, financially, socially. So, it was very depressing, and it's just taken me so long to get out of that depressive outlook.
Okay. I hear exactly what you're saying. And so I want you to, from this point on, and I hope you have a pen and paper handy while we're talking, so you can write down these juicy nuggets juicy nuggets. And so the first word I heard you say is this is going to be a long process. So it's already been long. So let's not let that be our belief anymore. Let's not say that anymore. Let's not say that this is going to be long because we have what we say. And you are proof that that is the case. You said it was going to be long, and lo and behold, it's long, and it's going to be long if you keep saying that if you keep writing that into your script. Okay? Every day we wake up, we're writing something into our script. So from now on, we can't say this is going to be a long process to get over because all that means is we want that to keep being in the script, and we don't want that in the script anymore. So, and we can't say that anymore. It doesn't serve us. And then the second thing that you said, I hope I didn't lose it. I should have jotted it down. Usually I jot things down when I'm talking so that I don't lose it. But I think I just lost what the second thing was that you said right after that. That was another sabotaging sentence. Let me think. Give me a second.
I wish I could help you.
Oh, that's okay. If it's necessary, if it's important, you can't lose what's important for you. It will come back, even if it's later on in the conversation. So let's just start off by getting solution focused right now. So we know what the problem is. You said socially it was damaging. I don't even know if you really hit on that on our last interview, but I do want to say that before I move on, and then we're going to be done with all the murky, dark, cloudy stuff. But it was very serious for you because you felt as if in your neighborhood, in the place that you live, where you have to go and walk into your community and go to the grocery store and the gas station and your children's sporting events and all these different things. But in your own community, you felt like you were walking around with the scarlet letter A written on the top of your forehead, and everybody was looking and shaming you and laughing at you, and you were the joke of your own community. I remember you saying that. And so it was so bad that you were considering and still considering possibly moving, like saying, you know what, I need to get away from that. I need to be in a different environment because it's reminding me of the pain. When I get the looks, it's making me feel like they're looking at me and they're judging me and they're looking at me and they're laughing at me and they're talking about my situation, and it hurts. It just makes it hurt over and over and over again. I have to live this every single day and be reminded of this every single day. So again, that's part of the script right now. So we need to change that. And the best way to change that is we have the ability to, when we think something, the brain doesn't know if it's real or imagined. So right now, if you think of a pink Mustang, if you think of a pink convertible Mustang, right now, if you picture it, let's just say you hop in it and you're driving it down the street, the brain doesn't know if it's real or imagined. It doesn't know the difference. So it assumes that whatever pictures we're painting, it just assumes that it's real, and it also assumes that we're saying yes to it. So one of the things that you want to make sure you're painting a picture of is you want to just, it's almost like, and Virginia, I know you can tap into this easily. Some people can tap into this a little more easier than others. And I know you're one of those that can do this, especially if you focus on it. It'll get natural. It's not going to feel natural at first, but it'll start to feel natural. And what you want to do is you want to have an imagination of a child. That's why you can take a child that's in the most destitute situation, and you can watch that child and they're still smiling and they're still laughing. They don't know the heaviness or they don't know like how negative or destructive or toxic the situation is that they are in. It doesn't matter if, you're just taking a child that's living in Africa and they sleep on a dirt bed. Like they don't know how, they don't feel the heaviness of it like you as an adult who now you use more logic and you use the logical side of your brain more than the creative, imaginative side. So in your eyes, you're judging it as the worst thing in the world. But to that child's eye, they still smile, they still laugh, they still dance, they still see the sunshine in things. They still see the hope in things and the promise in things. And so that's actually what is negative and it's harmful for us as adults. That's the part of growing up that we don't want to let go of. You want to go back to that. You want to go back and cultivate that because that's going to be your saving grace. So you want to start imagining Everybody that sees you, I'm talking everybody that sees you, you want to imagine that they think you are the most amazing person on the single planet. You just want to imagine that. Even if they say something different, you just want to imagine that they think you are so great. They only see your strengths. They only see the good things about you. Because we all have certain things about us that we're ashamed of and that we're like, we wish we wouldn't have done or whatever. We all have that. And so what happens is they're making you put a magnifying glass on those things that you're ashamed of, and it's blowing it up. It's making it in HD for you. You're seeing it in full color in your face, living through it. So you got to change the picture and start saying, you know what? When these people see me, if they laugh, that just means they think I'm pretty. And they're just like, man, she's so blessed to be so pretty. And they're laughing and they think it's awesome. And when they look at me, they just think that I'm so amazing. And it's not an egotistical thing. It's not an egotistical thing where you're like, oh, I'm just so great. No, you're just imagining a world where people see your strengths and you see their strengths. So the very first step, and this is the very first step in the solution in all of this. The very first step comes in, it boils down to one word, okay? So write this word down, and this word is powerful. If you're listening, make sure you write this word down too, because, again, I love life because not only do we get to have our experiences, but we get the opportunity to find out about other people's experiences so it can help us to grow. Everything in life should help us love, learn, or lengthen. Lengthen meaning grow. Love, learn, or lengthen. And so that's why I'm so appreciative that Virginia took the time to even share something that she felt was embarrassing and humiliating, and she's taken the time to share this with us because we can learn and grow from this, and it can help everybody if you have an open mind. So I don't take it lightly. So the very first word that we all have to learn in life is we have to learn the word love. We have to learn the word love. We've conditioned ourselves over the years for a lot of different reasons, but we've conditioned ourselves over the years to judge ourselves, to criticize ourselves, to put ourselves down. And so that's the opposite of love. We're not loving ourselves. We're not loving ourselves. So whatever you do for yourself, you're allowing other people to do for you. When you are not loving yourself, but yet you want other people to love you, that's almost an impossible task to occur because you don't even love yourself. You don't love yourself. Love is an action word. And so when you love yourself, you're doing things for yourself that proves you love yourself. You're thinking thoughts that prove you love yourself. You're eating in a certain way that proves you love yourself. You're speaking and encouraging other people in a way that proves you love yourself. What you have, you can give. What you don't have, you can't give. And I'm really speaking this to you because if you have a desire to have another husband, this is going to be huge for you to get right now. Do you know the statistics of marriage? First marriages failing is 50%. Do you know it bumps up to 65 to 70% for second marriages? Did you know it bumps up to 80 to 90% for third marriages?
Yep.
So with that being the case, those are not good numbers. They're not in your favor. So since you want, and I'm sure if you want another marriage, you want it to last this time. You want it to be fun and or you guys are building each other up and you feel this bliss and passion for one another and you just want to experience life together and have a blast together and you care unconditionally about one another, love one another unconditionally. That's what we all desire. So if you desire that, it is impossible for you to attract that to you if you're not even feeling it for yourself. You're only going to attract somebody who treats you the way you're feeling about yourself already. And so it'll be short term. It's not going to last. And you'll continue to think it's the other person and you'll blame the other person, but it all starts with us. So love is the foundation of everything if we want to start going in the right direction. We have to start with that word love, and it has to be pointed toward us. And it's not a selfish thing to love yourself. So you need to start every day writing down a toolbox. You have this toolbox. You call it my love toolbox. And what do you reach in there and you give yourself different modalities are in this toolbox that allows you to express love to yourself every day. It may be going out having nature therapy, just sitting out under the sun, looking up at the sky and the trees and the grass and just being appreciative. It may be writing in a thankful journal. That's an act of love for yourself. It may be where you're giving yourself a nice bubble bath and you lit the candles and you're in there just relaxing because you just deserve it. No, it doesn't have to be a special occasion. Okay? It may be the fact of your something that you have in your love toolbox. It may be the fact that you're going to do some listening therapy and either listening to some relaxing music or either listening to a motivational speaker or somebody who pumps you up and gets you reminding you of who you are. That's usually what motivational speakers, pastors, really good pastors, that's what they do. They remind you of who you are. And so that is uplifting. That uplifts your spirit, okay? So you got to have some things written down on a piece of paper that's in your love toolbox so that you can go in it and you can pull from it and make sure that you sprinkle some of that on yourself throughout the day. Now you've recommitted to fitness. Now you've been in our fitness program now for, 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. And that's an act of love. So that's something you're doing, and you stop that at first. These are things that when people are at their lowest, they stop the things that can help them the most.
That's
They
right.
go away from the people who could show them love. They go away from the different activities that they were doing at first. They literally go and put themselves like in a hole in a corner somewhere, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and that they feed the negative monster. They feed the negative thoughts. They feed the negative script. And that's why things get worse. And the worse it gets, it's almost like you're building this thick spider web. And the thicker it gets, the harder it is for you to get out. That's why you keep having those same repetitive thoughts over and over and over again. And it feels like it's going to last forever. And keep in mind, I heard you say something earlier. You mentioned that, you still have to go to court and you still have to do some things where, this isn't over as far as it's not just over and done now so you can just move on and not think about it completely. You still have some court and things like that. But guess what? You have the power of your brain. Nobody can take that from you. Nobody can come and repossess your brain, your mind, your consciousness. So you have the power, even within that, to look and think to yourself and say, I see this going in my favor. I want this to be over. I desire it to be over. So I just see it being over. And I see that it turns out better than I could have even imagined. That's possible. Life is about possibilities. There's limitless possibilities. It can turn out any kind of way. So why think about it turning out in the worst way? If there's 100,000 possibilities, which there's way more, but if there's 100,000, why think about the possibility of the worst case scenario? Why think like that? It's not going to serve you in any way. And I know that's what you do because you're like, but what if this happens? Then I'll have to do this. Oh, what if this happens? And that is a word it's an F word, and you need to write this down, called fear. Fear and doubt are brothers, okay? Fear and doubt are brothers. And when you have fear and you have doubt, that means you are praying for what you don't want. You are worrying about what you don't want, and you're being a magnet for what you don't want when you allow fear, worry, and doubt to take over you. And you think about worst case scenario. That means that that's the picture on your movie screen of your life going on right now. And what did I say earlier? Your subconscious doesn't know if it's real or fake. It just assumes it's real. And that's what it makes your reality every single day. So let's go ahead and talk about, we're going to wrap this up real quick. Now that you know the foundation is love, now that you know the culprit is fear and doubt, now we're going to talk about the solution that you can do in just a very, 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 very small amount of time every day. Some of the solutions to everything in life, I don't care if it's weight loss, depression, stress, anger, I don't care what it is, the solutions are always the most simple. And that's why people, they expect the secret to be something like big and crazy and something that they've never heard of before. But usually they're very, very, very simplistic. But you got to be consistent with it. They're very simple, and these are universal laws. So when you're dealing with a universal law, it can't fail. Just like if you jump off a building, a law is the law of gravity. The law of gravity will take place. And so you will drop. So when you know that, you're like, you should feel solace in knowing that, okay, if I apply some universal principles that have to work, then they're going to work in my favor. All I have to do is have that childlike face and childlike imagination and start painting a different picture in my head every day. So these are the 4 things that you must do each and every day, and you're going to come out like a rock star, the rock star that you are. So you have to activate all 4 parts of your brain. You have to activate all 4 parts of your brain every day for 4 minutes. That's it. For 4 minutes. Something magical happens within that 4 minutes. So that's why it only takes 4 minutes. You can do it in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to bed. However, if you had to choose only one time, it's best to do it in the morning as soon as you wake up. So have it next to your bed on your nightstand or something, or on your mirror in your bathroom to make sure that you knock this 4 minutes out before your day gets started, because it's like starting your navigation for the day. That's why the morning is the best time, especially if it's quiet. So you want to get up before it gets really noisy and do this. And this is your 4 minutes where you're setting your navigation for the day. You're basically you're setting up your movie reel for the day. You're using your power to get it ignited. So the 4 parts of the brain, the right brain has to be activated. The right brain deals with pictures, images. The right brain deals with pictures and images. So you have to see an image. And the easiest way to do that is to put the image on the screensaver of your phone. The front part, so when you go in, if you have it locked every single time you go on your phone, since you're going to automatically go on your phone multiple times a day, to have it on your phone. Okay? So whatever image, and you only focus, because you're doing this for 30 days. You only focus on one thing for 30 days. After that, you can focus on something brand new the next 30 days. So if you start tomorrow is day 1 of your 30 days of doing this and only focusing on one thing. There's a book called The Power of Focus. So when you focus on one thing, that's where the magic happens. So let's say that you want to focus on being happy, okay, for 30 days. Whatever it is that's screaming out to get help right now the loudest, whatever's screaming out the loudest. If it's dealing with this court case right now, if that's screaming the loudest, that's what you want to see the victory in, and that's what you want to put an image of your screen on, something dealing with you getting what you desire and it turning out in your favor. You want to put something that, you know, describes that within a picture on your phone, and you're going to look at that image for 4 minutes. As you look at that image for 4 minutes, you're going to now activate the left part of your brain. Now, keep in mind, some people do this and they leave out a part. And so we're going to make sure we're activating all 4 parts. So now you're going to activate your words, which is the left part of the brain, and you're going to speak the victory over the situation. And a good way to do this, there's a few, I have like a handful of phrases I like, but for some reason this one came out for you, and that is, I see myself having. That's how it needs to start off. I see myself having. So it can be, I see myself having, you know, whatever it is you desire to come out of this case. You know, you want to say, I see myself having. And that's it. The subconscious won't fight you over a statement that says, I see myself having, because it's very subtle. It's a sneaky way to bypass the subconscious that sometimes, again, tries to sabotage you from getting what you desire, because it tries to remind you of those limiting beliefs and all that stuff. And so you sneak past it when you say, I see myself having, and then fill in the blank. All right, let's knock out the last 2. Step 3. I'm going to give you the last 2 at the same time for a reason. Step 3 is activating the brainstem, which is physical stimulation / action, okay? And then step 4 is the midbrain, which are emotions. Step 4 is the midbrain, which is emotions. Okay, so, and the reason why I had to give you both is because the emotions come in play when you're doing the first 2, images and words. So when you set your, and this is actually what I do, I set my timer. Everybody has a timer on their phone. I set my timer on my phone, and I look at the image, and I speak the words, and I say the words over and over and over. I see myself having, and you want to say it loud. If the kids are asleep or something like that, then you can act like you're saying it loud, like, I see myself having. So it's almost like you're whispering, but you're whispering really loud. And the reason why you got to, I coined a term called screamformations. The reason why you want it to be loud is because anything you do loud, it causes emotions to get stirred up in you, negatively or positively. So if you're yelling at somebody, you're in an argument, and you're yelling loud, guess what happens? Those emotions get stirred up really fast and aggressively. If you're excited about something, you just won the lottery, or somebody just proposed to you, and you start screaming, or you start talking to somebody, and you're telling, your best friend what just happened, and you're really loud, you're stirring up those emotions on a positive note. So anytime you get loud, and that's why it's so funny, because like I'm loud naturally, and so sometimes when I'm doing speaking, I've had some people on live streams or whatever. They're like, "Why are you so loud?" Well, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not for you if you can't appreciate my loudness. I'm sorry. That's just how it is, and I amp it up because I know the power of emotions. So when you amp it up, you're really getting those emotions stirred up. And emotions, write this down. It's very, very powerful. Oh my gosh, it's so powerful, and I got to wrap this up. Okay. Thoughts are electricity. Emotions are magnets. I'll say it one more time. Thoughts are electricity. Emotions are magnets. And what's beautiful about that is when you're looking at that image, you're thinking and you're saying the words, then you're getting the electricity going. But when you add that emotion to it, you're making it come to you. That's why the emotion part is the most important out of all four. Gotta have the emotion part together. You have to have it. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10. Otherwise, you're doing everything else for naught because you don't have the magnet. You're not drawing the right circumstances to you. So you got to add the emotions. And then the last step, which, like I said, was the brain stem, the physical stimulation or the action. That is just basically preparing for what you want. Preparing for what you want. And it can be in the simplest of ways. So a good example is, let's say that, which example do I want to use? Let's say that, I'll give you a good example. Let's say that you have oh gosh, there's so many good examples for this, but I want to make sure that it's very clear and concise so that you get the picture. Let's say that you go out and you apply for a job. If you go out and you apply for a job and then you prepare to not get it because your action is, let's say your action is you are telling people that, I heard that, it's 1,000 people that apply for that position and it's really hard to get hired at that company. So you took the action and did the interview, but now you basically have reversed the chances of you getting it by now you're preparing to not get it by your words. So you're deactivating what you said you wanted. So that's why when you prepare for what you want, guess what he might do? Let's say it was a guy, what he might do to prepare to get the job. He may go out and go to Staples and go and grab an envelope holder to put on his desk. See, he prepared for what he wanted with that one act. So that's exactly what you have to do. You have to prepare for what you want. If what you were desiring, if it happens, what would you do? Well, go do it now. Do it every day. So he could prepare by every time he drives past the Staples, he can say, okay, what else do I need for my new office? And he can just think, he doesn't have to go in there every time. He can just think when he passes it, like, okay. And he's preparing for what he wants. He's preparing for them to call him and say, the job is yours. He's preparing for what he wants. And so you have to do the exact same thing every day. Remember, it's only a small act. Every day he's preparing for what he wants. So if you went out, if in that same scenario, if he went and he got the little envelope holder, and let's say right now the envelope holder is at home on his counter, every day he could put an envelope in it and say, oh, okay, this is what I'll have to open up on Monday at my new office. The next day he can look at it and say, okay, in my new office I'll have to put in some invoices in here. So, okay, great. So every day he's kind of like watering that garden just with that one thing that's preparing for what he wants. And you have to do that every day for 30 days. And like I said, it doesn't take long. If he just puts an envelope in there and thinks about what he would do with it at his office, he's preparing the soil. He's preparing to get what he desires. So the same thing with you. You have to prepare for what you want every day. That's the action that you're taking every day. A small thing, like I said, 4 minutes or less. And so now you know that in order to activate all four parts of the brain, you're activating right brain images and pictures, left brain with your words, midbrain with your emotions, and then the brain stem with your physical stimulation, aka action. That is it. You do that for 30 days, and you will be sending me an email saying that everything has changed. You have a new reality now, and you're going to start saying this anyway. You're going to start feeling this anyway. When you get off this phone, you may feel it already. You're going to start feeling like things are different. Feeling good now, knowing you have a choice, that you're not a victim, that you don't have to just say, well, this is the way it is, nothing I can do about it, I have to wait. No, you don't have to wait till a freaking court date to be happy. You don't have to wait till a court date to see what happens in order to start enjoying life right now. How long do you have in life? You don't know. So we don't wait for anything to be happy. We don't wait for anything to be happy. We have to be happy in the moment, every moment, and enjoy every moment. Otherwise, you're putting your happiness in the layaway, saying, I have to put my happiness in the layaway. I can come and get you happiness after I get the result I want in this situation in my life. No, you act as if that child, that kid-like faith and imagination where you're getting excited right now every time you think about it, because trust me, the negative thought may still come. And when that negative thought comes, say, thank you, subconscious, for reminding me about that negative thought or that negative possibility. But I choose to keep believing that, what did I say? I see myself having fill in the blank. Thank you for trying to tell me the negative possibility, but you know what? I'm going to choose to continue to see myself having the fill in the blank. How does it make, what are your thoughts right now, Virginia? I just laid down the whole map for you. What are your thoughts? What's going through your cranium right now?
Well, it seems so obvious, and it's so funny that I really was playing all these bad tapes in my head. I was saying things over and over, and you're right. And I never thought about the importance of preparing for the good. And I know that with like Olympic athletes, they will have them close their eyes and envision themselves successfully winning and getting a gold medal. Well, I think I haven't been doing that. I've just been watching what happened and wallowing in that instead of trying to prepare for the good.
Wow. You're not alone. That's what most people do. So I am so thankful. I just want to, again, thank you so much for being open and honest and sharing your story with each and every one of us. And we can all apply it to something in life, guys. So if you're listening, then I just highly encourage you to think about that one situation in your life right now that is screaming for attention. It's screaming to be transformed, and you are the only one that can transform it. So use the information that we were all, as I mentioned last time in the last interview, we're all working on something. Somebody may be working on the windows in their home. Somebody may be working on the floor. Somebody may be working on the garage. We're all working on something. And so as we work on the different things that pop up in our lives, then just feel good in knowing that you do have more control than you think. And it does start with love. And then it starts with activating the 4 parts of our brain. And then it starts with just expecting and imagining like that child, the best case scenario on everything and feeling good. We got to continue to feel good every day. We got to continue to paint the right stories in our head every single day, or else we will continue to succumb to the same old stories, new people, new characters, but the same old stinking sorry storyline. Point blank, period. It's just as simple as that. So again, guys, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for taking time out to listen to this. I hope it blessed your socks off, and I hope that you will also have testimonials to email to me and let me know how it changed your life and how you were able to transform an area in your life that you've been struggling with for so long and moving on to your victory. So until next time, guys, R3 for Live, reverse, return, and rebuild your body and mind. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.